So we're going to be doing the second operation fixture for the E39 BMWs, the radiator brackets. So here's the layer for the second op fixture, and here is how everything is laid out. The orange lines are the parts, and the outside rectangular box is the stock, which we will remove. It's going to be 4 pieces on a fixture. The white parts, the white lines in these areas out here are the spacer blocks. If I turn everything off, they're spacer blocks to push against the parts towards the wall. And the walls are these red lines, not the dotted lines, the red lines back here. And if you turn on the parts again, you'll see that the orange lines, the spacer block pushes the orange line, which is the part towards the wall, which are the red lines that you see back here. So the idea is cut out some of these spacer blocks. First cut the fixture and the spacer blocks. These ovals here is a location slot. So I'm going to have some dowel pins drilled in there and located, and then I put the spacer blocks onto the pins, and then these in here, the blue lines are the pit bull wedge clamps, the Uniforce clamps, which will spread as you tighten the bolts both directions. On here it's going to be a Y plus and a Y minus in both directions equally. So I have 2 parts, one on this side, one on that side, spacer block, which will be located on the pins. So the spacer blocks will go back and forth, and hopefully not too much angular movement, more just back and forth straight. I only have about 2,500 spacing in between the dowel pins and the slot here. So we analyze the distance of the distance here and here. It's 254, and the dowel pins I'm going to be using are quarter inch dowel pins. So I'll have 2,000s of play on each side of the pin, which is pretty tight, and I hope that it'll keep it from, moving around this way, because you want nice force to go straight against here. Not that I'm taking a lot of material off anyway, but you want everything to be equal and nice. So these 4 will be the Uniforce Mighty Bite clamps. Sorry, not pit bull. If I said pit bull, Mighty Bites. And these rounded sections are just relief cuts. So let's take a look at the second op fixture only. Here it is. The dotted purple lines is just a profile that I created for the roughing end mill. I'm going to be using a let's see, half inch hog mill. The path that I'm going to use is Mastercam's 2D dynamic area. So if we toggle it on and off, sorry, that's the wrong one. Finish type of fixture, 2D dynamic. So that's what it is. That's the tool path. The settings, 2-inch Yeah, 2-inch, half-inch hog mill, 50 inches a minute, 4,000 RPM. That's a decent feed rate. The step over is going to be 20% of the tool, which is 0.1 inch. I'm going to leave 20 thou and 10 thou for a finish. Somehow, I'm having a little issue with the 2D dynamic area path. Whenever I add something to stock to leave on walls right here, it doesn't seem to actually leave anything, which is odd because I've used this before and all of a sudden it just stopped working. It would actually cut to the correct size or to the final dimension, and when I go in there with a finishing tool, it'll leave the roughing the hog mill profile on there, and it's not very nice. Let's see, entry motion, helix radius. I usually put half, smaller than half of the radius of the tool, so we're using a half-inch. Half of the radius of the tool is a 1/4 inch. So helix radius. I don't want to leave a little stud in the center when it ramps in there to clear out a little pocket, so it can begin the high-speed tool path. Plunge angle 3 degrees. Here's the linking parameters. I'm going half inch deep, and step over 100,000. Micro lift. On a full-size machine, I would leave a micro lift so that it doesn't leave any steps on the bottom of the floor. I don't know how well Tormach step motors can handle it, so I leave this off. Back feed, I leave it at a relatively low feed rate at 60 inches a minute. I'm pretty sure I could go up to 80. I haven't tried 110 yet, or 100, whatever the maximum feed rate is. So, yeah. So on this machine, I leave it at 0, and back feed rate I always keep it at 60. That's what I'm used to. So. And let's go back to our second operation fixture view. So that's our tool path, and that's all the tool paths for this fixture. And let's verify real quick for you guys. This is Mastercam X7. I haven't downloaded X8 yet because I don't know, they're always coming up with updates and whatever. So I usually wait about a year for me to actually start using the next version. Actually, version 9 just came out like a week or two ago. So here we go. Let's up the precision level so we can see a little better. And here we go. This should be the half-inch hog mill. And the outside yellow geometries out here right now are the geometries that I created for this toolpath. Remember I told you that old 20 thou that I had left in there for wall finish, it doesn't do that anymore, and again I don't know why. So I created a geometry that's a little smaller. I offset it the whole geometry just a hair, 7 thou, to leave material for finishing. And it's a pain, but it gets it done. The walls look smooth, the floors look okay. So these little holes are for the Mighty Bite clamps. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are the 1/4 inch dowel pins for locating the spacer blocks. And 1, 2, 3, 4, those are my X location pins for the part itself. So the parts will bank on the back walls here and here, and on the Y axis, and this is what it banks on the X axis. So there's one there, one there, one there, and one there. So it's four pins, 4 parts. So it looks okay on the verify. I've been working on this for a while now, so I also chamfered everything real nice, just so I don't have to do any handwork. Alright, so the machine's ready, the parts set up. First thing we're going to do is, let's close that. Let's go to the machine. So the part is set up. It's a 6 inches, 6 by 6 piece of 6061. Yeah, 6 by 6 by, it should be 2 inches. About 2 inches. 2 1/4. 2 1/4 thickness. The thickness doesn't really matter that much. Yeah, so the program's ready, all my tools are set, work offset is set. So the first operation for this fixture is to profile the outside 1 inch deep. I didn't show you that on the computer. Profile it 1 inch deep, just to give me a nice finish on the outside, and face off the top with the same tool, 1/2 inch finishing end mill, and so I can flip it over later and then do the other side. So here we go. Ah, crap. Alright, I screwed up. Wrong tool. So, hold on. So here we go again. I changed the tool number, tool offset number, and the D numbers. Half inch 3 flute end mill, half inch 3 flute carbide, non-coated. Bogging down the spindle motor a little bit. Starting the E39 Radiator Brackets second operation spacer blocks. The 3/8 end mill, spacing off the top real quick. Operation, I like to turn down the spindle speed, get a little more torque to drive the tools. Sometimes I find that if I go 2 times D on the axial depth, it tends to bog down the spindle, and I find that the range of the spindle is about 4,000 RPM is probably max I would go for torque. When it comes to a little heavier cutting, about 3,000 to 3,500 RPMs. That was kind of no problem. So right now it's running about 4,000 RPM. Just over a half-inch deep. RPM back to 5,000 for a finishing cut. And also when I need to have some tight tolerances, you know, plus or minus 1 thou. Well, fairly tight, plus or minus 1,000s, I like to take a skim cut. So that's a skim cut there. Going in with a 3/16 end mill to open up a slot just over a 1/4 inch for my pins. Ramping down, I believe, it's 2.5 degrees. Nice little chamfer on the part. Just so I don't have to deburr it. So let's go take a look. There it is. Looks nice. Surface finish is real good. Looks nice. So here's how this part's supposed to sit. This is the part as far as operation's been done. A second op. That goes right in there. So this flat and this flat sits right in there. Bam, just like that. And then on the first op fixture, there's going to be some pins to locate this way. And that slot is part for the pinholes. Looks good. Feels good. Just a couple more. So we have the second operation of the E39 BMW radiator brackets finished, and the spacer blocks are finished also. So here it is completed, mounted on the vise. And here are the spacer blocks that I machined earlier. Came out nice. Already ran a couple. So everything is good to go. It's nice, slides nice and back. Nice and slides back and forth real nice. Mighty Bites Uniforce clamps, awesome clamps. Very well worth the money. I usually get them when they're on sale on MSC. Happens quite often, so that's cool. So here's the first operation of the radiator brackets already finished, and here's the, we're going to be cutting the second side. Now what I put on here is the 3M masking tape. This surface here is the surface that's going to be showing on the car, so you want a real nice finish on there. And whenever you clamp aluminum, especially on a finished side, it tends to leave some sort of blemish on it, not dents or anything. It's like a aluminum deposit or some sort. I'm not exactly sure what do you want to call it. Sometimes you get to rub it off with a paper towel. So here's how that one goes in. These are the locating pins. This one's for the left hand side, this one's for the right hand side, and same for these here. So I just load them on right there. Nice and easy. So here are the parts. These are the parts ready to go on the machine, and these are the finished parts. Now, remember I was talking about earlier about that little blemish on the aluminum. I don't know if I can catch this somehow. There we go, you can see just a little bit of blemish right there. There you go. It's a little dark. I don't know why that is, but it happened, so I put 3M masking tape on there and eliminated all of that issue. It's not bad. Once I put it in a tumbler with the walnut media, it should come right out. But why risk it? So it'll be okay. So let's load the rest of the parts onto the machine. So that should just drop right in. Drop right in. And another 2. So put right here. Drops right in. And drops right in. Alright, now I'm going to tighten them down and we'll machine it. So here we go. Let's see this thing cuts. 1/2 inch 3 fluid end mill. Yeah, that gets a little dangerous. I've heard it fly all through the garage. Yeah, see that? It's a little crazy. Throw it around. I mean, it's okay, it doesn't chip the tool. And I have a piece of plastic to cover myself. Usually I'm doing something else. I'm prepping the other parts to be run anyway, so my back's always turned to this, so I know I won't go blind with it or go blind by it. So I just let it be. It gets a little noisy. That's alright. I've ran plenty of parts without it. Ain't a big deal, so. Chamfer tool. I used to do this one by one, and that seems a lot more efficient. Run time's about 4.5 minutes. 4.5 minutes allows me to tape up the other ones and, you know, give the ones that are finished a little bit of inspection, visual inspection. Yeah. There you go.